All right, we're jumping UFC lightweight Kurt Holobaugh, who's back in action here against Alexander Hernandez. Kurt, how's it going, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, big fight upcoming in just over a week's time. Like fighting a guy like Alex, how happy are you with that? Obviously a big name opponent, fought some top guys. Like how happy are you with this opponent?
Oh man, very good, very good, very seasoned guy. He's been in UFC for a long time. He's done a lot in the UFC. He's got some, great wins under his belt against, top 10 guys. So I'm excited to go out there and accept the challenge.
With your last fight, like going to that one, you're the underdog, so I was a bit surprised by. Like, what do you kind of take away from that fight? It was a pretty good performance all around from you.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a tough fight, man. Anybody from the Fighting Nerds, I mean, of course, we've been hearing that name thrown around for the last year or so, and, getting a guy from the Fighting Nerds, like Kenya Krzyzewski. I mean, you see some of the work that he's done throughout his career and, winning the Contender Series. But even before winning the Contender Series, he's beaten the only guy to ever beat Islam Makhachev. So, it's always funny when you go back and look at MMA math, but man, very good striker, and I wanted to stand up and test myself with him.
With Alex, what have you made of his last couple fights? Like some close fights been in. Like he had the back-to-back splits against Austin Hubbard, a guy you fought, and then Damon Jackson. Like he's fought some tough guys. What he kind of made of his last couple fights?
I mean, he's always in an entertaining fight. He's always in a fight to where he's always trying to win. It's just in the UFC, man. It's just every fight's going to be tough. You never know if you're going to get a knockout submission or if you're going to have to grind it out and really fight hard to the end and get that decision.
Uh, he is someone like I know he did that featherweight thing. It didn't work out too well. Like I just always thought he was a lightweight. Like were you surprised when he did that move to featherweight?
Yeah. And like Alex is a guy that I remember him coming into the UFC, and especially everybody remembers when he was fighting Cowboy. And yeah, I've never been around him, so I never actually seen him up close and personal, but or up close in person. But I don't really know. Some guys are, kind of in that between. They need a new jump start, and I kind of he kind of fell down a little bit in his career and maybe wanted that jump start and tried another weight class, which, really didn't really work out great for him. But I mean, and I feel like I'm kind of the same way. If I really wanted to make 45, I think I could. It's not going to be a fun fight camp. Um, but and there's a lot of guys probably at 155 like that can probably touch 145 if they really wanted to.
With Alex, he is someone like ultra aggressive from the beginning, and it kind of does kind of slow down as the fight goes on. Or you just expect kind of a wild, chaotic first round of him, or do you think he might kind of try to slow it down, pace himself a bit?
I'm expecting just a wild fight. Period. I think every round's gonna probably be the same because I feel like we're both kind of similar style fighters. We both like to come out. We both like the pressure, you know, um, and we both like to punch a lot. So we'll see what happens. I'm expecting a fast paced fight through all three rounds if it goes that far, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
The I don't know if you've seen it, but you're the underdog again. Does that surprise you, or like you feel like in tough, like even in tough, I feel like you would have been the underdog in most of your fights. It just seems like they aren't really putting a lot of respect, even though you are winning.
For sure. And no, it doesn't bother me, and I'm not surprised that I'm the underdog. I've been the underdog my whole life, and I mean, but I think it pays tribute to some of the things that he's done in the UFC thus far. He's the one that's got a lot of big wins over big names. I really don't have the big names under my belt, although I did, win the Ultimate Fighter and stuff like that. But I still feel like I got a lot going for me too, and I actually thought that I would be, a little bit bigger dog than what I was. I was expecting a 2-1 or 3-1. So with me being a small dog, I kind of feel like, okay, well, that's a little bit of respect on me. But yeah, it doesn't matter to me, man, underdog or not. I control the outcome to all these things. And there is no odds that controls the outcome.
Uh, you've been off for a bit, like since July. Like, what kind of was there any reason for layoff? Or is it just like they just weren't giving you fights?
No, well, yeah, I kind of tried to fight before the end of the year. It just didn't happen. And then, we heard some rumors about a New Orleans card coming in February. So I'm like, dang man, if I get a fight in December, they might not jump me back on in February, or if I get a fight in January. So I wasn't really reaching out like saying, "Hey, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to fight." I was just kind of staying ready and hoping that that New Orleans card in February rumor was true. And then once we kind of started getting close to February and they push it back, and I'm like, well, I just need to fight. So, I started hitting up my management and, yeah, shortly after, and it was probably around January, early January when they hit me up around for this fight. So,
Back at the Apex, is that a bit disappointing, or do you like being there?
no, I don't think it's disappointing. Of course, everybody wants to be on the big cards, and big sold out arenas, but, um, for the Apex though, man, I really don't mind it. And the main reasons because I got my family that comes with me, my kids. They get to sit basically front row and watch me, and I can hear them. So for that reason, man, it's pretty cool. I don't really mind it, and it doesn't really matter to me. Once you're in there, you don't think about none of that stuff.
Uh, who is going to be in your corner for this one?
My same normal corner that's been with me basically since day one. My black belt coach. Rafael Elwanger, he'll be there. My kickboxing stand-up coach, Jimmy Mills, and my third corner man, Scott Smith. Not the Ultimate Fighter, Scott Smith.
With Alex, like you kind of said, both you guys have similar styles. Both you guys are entertaining. Like, how do you kind of see it playing out? It seems like it could be destined for one of you guys getting finished, or it could just be one of those like kind of 15-minute wars out there.
For sure, man. And it's like you can't really predict fighting. I mean, I can say I'm going to go out and knock him out. He can say he's going to come out and knock me out. But really, man, I think we're both very high level. It's just we're going to have to catch each other. If one of us wants to finish, we're going to have to do a good job of setting something up, luring some traps, and really making whatever shot we're throwing land. So, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to predict. Of course, I want to finish. He wants to finish. I don't really care how I get it. um, I'm expecting him to wrestle a little bit, and we I think we're just going to mix a lot of stuff in. It's going to be a full all around mixed martial arts fight. So I definitely see um, me maybe being able to get a submission or something during some wrestling exchanges, but we'll see, man. It's going to be fun to get that fight going.
Obviously, he is a big name. So, like, what do you think a win over here does here? Like, I think this is probably one of the biggest wins of your career. Like, kind of propels you into getting these bigger fights. Like, what do you think this kind of does for you?
For sure, I think it definitely propels me up a little higher up the rankings. I mean, it's a big fight. He's a big name. He's been around the UFC for a long time, like we said. So I think it does a lot. It's definitely be the biggest win in my career. And right now, I'm just looking forward to climbing that mountain.
I know Poirier's been hinting at that Louisiana card in the summer.
Yep.
Is that kind of the goal then? Get this one and hopefully get on that card then?
Yeah, for sure, man. It's almost like a dream come true. I've accomplished a lot of dreams already just being in the UFC and winning the Ultimate Fighter and, being able to do all the things that I've done. So I think that's almost like, besides winning a championship or getting ranked in the UFC, being able to fight in your hometown feels like, a dream. So I would definitely like to do that and see what that's like.
Well, what do you think that walkout would be like? Like, kind of for everyone, because if they haven't been in New Orleans for a while, like Poirier's would be insane, but like, there's a lot of fighters in Louisiana. Like, yours would be pretty crazy. Like, what do you think that would be like for you?
Yeah, man, I think it would be crazy, man, because we have a big gym down here. We got a big kind of a franchise with 30 plus gyms, and thousands of students. So of course, that's not counting all friends and family that'll be able to actually come watch me fight live and not have to make a trip, to Vegas or any other state. So I think it'll be crazy, man. It's gonna be something if it happens.
Is that something like you wouldn't even care who the opponent is? Like, it's just more like get me on that card and date, like figure out an opponent later, pretty much.
No, for sure. Yeah, just get me on the card. Like I really don't pick. I've never said no to an opponent really in my life. So yeah, I really don't care. It can be anybody. I mean, it depends on what the UFC wants to do. If they want to throw me a freaking top 15 guy, I'll be more than happy to take that and try to work my way up. If they want to throw me a guy that's fresh off the contender series, I don't care, man. I'm here to fight and do my job any way I can.
Just final thing, like, what is the goal then for you this year? Like, I imagine probably get at least more than 2 fights than you had last year. Probably a bit more active than you were last year.
Yeah, I'm kind of been on besides, the year that I won the Ultimate Fighter, I fought 3 times that year. But, the past 2 years, I'm fighting 2 times a year. And I'd definitely like to do a little bit more. I think 3 fights a year is good. If I could fit 4 in, if I'm healthy, that would be awesome too. But, yeah, man, if I can go out there and be successful in this fight with Alex and move on to whatever's next. Hopefully that's a New Orleans card. And then you never know if we want to get something after that. But I feel like, the good thing about my career, I've never really had serious injuries. I feel like I've been healthy, for the last 5 or 6 years that I've been fighting. I haven't had no real injuries. So if I can keep that going, man, I don't think there's anything that can stop me.
Well, Kurt, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much for doing this again.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Thanks for having me on.